Muhammad said that Adam, when he was created, was made in the image of Allah, and he was 60 cubits tall. A cubit is basically this, a forearm. Apparently, humans became shorter since Adam. But when humans go back to heaven, they will be tall again, like Adam. I'm not sure what we're supposed to do with that information. If everyone is that huge, so we are relatively not really big, then what exactly is the point? Maybe in the old climate of 7th century Arabia, this was something that impressed people, made them think, wow, I will be 60 cubits tall? Amazing, look at that, 1, 2, 3. One of those hadiths is this one, for example, in Sahih Bukhari, where Muhammad says, Allah created Adam, making him 60 cubits tall. When he created him, he said to him, go and greet that group of angels and listen to their reply, for it will be your greeting and the greeting of your offspring. So Adam said to the angels, Assalamu alaikum. Adam was of course speaking Arabic, which is the universal language. Probably Allah taught Adam Arabic and then people forgot it because they became shorter. And then they learned it again from new. I don't know, whatever. So Adam said to the angels, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you. The angels said, Assalamu alayka wa rahmatullah, peace and Allah's mercy be upon you. Thus the angels added to Adam's salutation the expression wa rahmatullah. Any person who will enter paradise will resemble Adam. People have been decreasing in stature since Adam's creation. In other hadiths, it says more explicitly, so he who would get into paradise would get in the form of Adam, his length being 60 cubits. Then the people who followed him continued to diminish in size up to this day. Another hadith says, so whoever will enter paradise will be of the shape and picture of Adam. Since then the creation of Adam's offspring has continuously diminished to the present time. Other hadiths again say that whoever enters the garden will have Adam's form, but creation has continued to decline until now. So the hadiths are pretty clear. Adam was this big guy, giant. And since Adam, humans have been shrinking continuously until the present time. That's what Muhammad clearly and explicitly says according to these reports. This is why many of us who grow up as Muslims, including me, learn that people used to be tall in the past. It is very disappointing to find out that this is complete nonsense.
You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words. How dare you?
Liar! In fact, the archaeological evidence shows that there was no big difference in the size, the height of humans over thousands of years. Humans have roughly remained at the same size, become taller and shorter over time. And right now, the average human is actually taller than 2 centuries ago, for example. Since the archaeological evidence is very obvious, and since we clearly know that it is nonsense, that it cannot be right that humans were extremely tall, 60 cubits, Muslim scholars have tried to reinterpret Muhammad's words here. One explanation which comes up is that when Muhammad says that Adam was 60 cubits tall, then what he means is that Adam was 60 cubits tall in paradise and not on earth. When he was put on the earth, he became small, like us. And when we go there, not me, I will go to hell. When Muslims go there, they will become giants again, for no reason. And at first, that seems to make sense. Yeah, okay, that's a good explanation. It removes the contradiction with reality. But then when you go back to the text, to the hadiths, they clearly say that humans have, ever since, continued to become smaller. Many Muslim apologists and scholars, when answering these doubts, omit this part. They do this because they lie to themselves. Because when they see a clear problem, a flaw, they have to somehow reinterpret it and reaffirm their faith. But there are other scholars who make a different attempt and who do consider those final words, and they try to change those words and change the interpretations. They try to say, oh, we just misunderstood this. What this actually means is that Adam was 60 cubits tall, but people after him on earth, including Adam when he was on earth, were actually smaller. And they say that's what Muhammad meant when he said humans have been decreasing in size. But that doesn't really make sense. It's not factually correct. It is linguistically inaccurate. The reports clearly and explicitly say that humans have been continuously getting smaller up until today. Which is why early Muslim scholars and many other Muslim scholars have believed for a long time that humans were indeed very tall and that they have indeed been shrinking. Some scholars have rejected the archaeological and logical evidence, clinging on to Muhammad's words as the absolute truth.
the first point to refute these claims by apostate prophet is that this hadith is saying Adam was 90 feet tall in heaven, not on earth. The height of Adam was 90 feet tall, or 60 cubits, according to this hadith, and other hadith reports clarified that it was in the heavens. So I'll just focus on the last part of that hadith, or the bold part of the hadith. It says, all of them will look alike and will resemble their father Adam in stature, 60 cubits or 90 feet tall in the heavens. This hadith is found in Sahih Bukhari, book 55, hadith 544, and it's in the English translation of Sahih Bukhari, it's hadith 3149. So basically, this hadith is saying that Adam was 90 feet tall in heaven, and not on earth. So when Allah created Adam in heaven, he was 90 feet tall. It says nothing about his descent. It says nothing about his height when he came to earth. This clarifies the first point, that Adam's height was 90 feet tall, or 60 cubits in heaven or in paradise, according to this hadith, and it does not say anything about his height after he landed on his planet. Like I said before, thus Adam was short on earth. He had a short height on earth. He wasn't 90 feet when he landed on earth. However, when Adam landed on earth, he was still taller than normal human beings are today, and I'll be getting into the evidence for that in a little bit. This is also illustrated in other hadith. When the Prophet Muhammad ascended to heaven in the Isra and Miraj, or the night journey, when he went to heaven, in his early ministry in Makkah, he saw Abraham in heaven, and Abraham was so tall his head could not be seen. In this hadith is found in Bukhari, volume 4, page 346, hadith 3354, thus establishing the point that you're only 90 feet tall in heaven and not on earth. Remember, the Prophet Muhammad saw Abraham in heaven, and Abraham was 90 feet tall in the seventh heaven, or in heaven. So this clarifies the point that you're only 90 feet tall in heaven, and Adam was only 90 feet tall in heaven, not when he was on earth. The other point I want to make is this is, it kind of makes sense for atheists to reject this hadith, but it doesn't make sense for Jews or Christians, or the Judeo-Christian reader, to reject this hadith as scientifically absurd. The reason why is because the Bible mentions giants all over the place. Giants are mentioned in the Bible in several different places, especially in the Old Testament. These giants were descendant from Adam, because all mankind came from Adam, according to the Old Testament, New Testament, and the Quran. Thus, these giants were descendant from Adam, thus giving credence to the fact that Adam himself was a giant, because all mankind came from Adam. And if there were giants after Adam, it stands to reason that these giants were the offspring, or these giants were the sons of Adam. See Genesis chapter 6, verse 4, Joshua chapter 12, verse 4. It says, Og, the king of Bashan, in Deuteronomy chapter 3, verse 11, was a giant. The giant people in Canaan that Moses' spies reported in Numbers chapter 13, verse 30 to 33. Goliath was also exceedingly tall in 2 Samuel chapter 21, verse 19. And the Anakites were tall also in Deuteronomy chapter 9, verse 1 to 2, are all examples of giants in the Bible. Not only that, but we see that there were giants who were fathers of other giants, or descendants of other giants. See 1 Chronicles chapter 20, verses 4 through 8. So giants existed even before the rise of Islam, even before, according to Old Testament times, according to biblical times, giants existed. Thus, giants were the offspring of Adam. Thus, Adam was also taller than normal human beings are today. Thus, supporting the Hadith. Also, see Amos chapter 2, verse 9, where the Amorites were described as tall as cedars. So the Amorites were also giants, or they were very tall, taller than normal human beings are today. There were also tribes and groups of giant people in ancient times, so humans at one point were taller than they are today. An Old Testament scholar, in commentating on 2 Samuel chapter 21 verses 16 to 22, asserted that uh, Raphat was the tribe father of the Rephaim, an ancient tribe of gigantic people, a statue of whom only a few families were left even in Moses' time. In the references there, commentary on the Old Testament, volume 2, page on Joshua, Judges, Ruth, 1 and 2 Samuel, page 680. So there were tribes and groups of giant people in biblical times, or there were people who were taller than humans are, than modern humans are today, according to the Old Testament. Thus, according to the Bible, there were human giants on earth. All humans came from Adam, according to the Bible and the Quran. Thus, it stands to reason that Adam was also a giant, or at least taller than modern humans are today, according to the verses of the Old Testament, which I just cited. Also, we have some archaeological evidence of giants on Earth, or at least figures that were taller than modern humans are today. Let's see the following video from a Chinese news site. Keep in mind, it's a Chinese news site and not a Muslim news site, or any kind of fundamentalist news site. Let's check out that video. Now, there are skeletons that were found in archaeological sites, which were human skeletons, which were taller than modern humans from all around the world, like America. Let's check out some images of those giant human skeletons, etc. The next picture is a bone of a Roman giant from the 3rd century, proving that humans were once taller than modern humans are today. In 1991, the oldest complete skeleton of an individual with gigantism was unearthed from a territory just outside the city of Rome. The body was that of a young man buried in an abnormally large tomb to accommodate his above average size sometime in the 3rd century AD. So that's the bone of the remains of the person they found. What is indeed significant is that many giant versions of other creatures existed in the past or still exist today. To name just a few, these include the following. Spiders can be up to 12 inches long. Moths can have a wingspan of 11 inches. Centipedes, 13 inches long. Snails, up to 15 and a half inches long. Frogs can be up to 16 inches high. Dragonflies can have the wingspan of more than 2.5 feet. Rats can have a body mass of 750 pounds. So these are all, creatures on Earth that can be much bigger than their normal size. Like a spider can be bigger than a normal size spider, et cetera, et cetera. Frogs can be higher than normal frogs. The fact that scientists have discovered animals with body sizes far greater than those observed today suggests, at least in theory, the possibility of there having also been a giant Adam and giant humans in the past, as recorded in the Hadith and in the Bible. So it's possible that, it's very possible that there was a giant Adam and there were giant humans who were descendant from Adam, but their bones have not been discovered yet, or their bones were swept away by sandstorms or by floods, or their bones were destroyed as time went on. Conclusion of this video would be that according to the Hadith, Adam was only 90 feet tall in heaven. When he came to earth, he was short, but still taller than modern humans are today. The Old Testament confirms that there were giants on earth, thus confirming that Adam himself was a giant, since all those humans who were giants in the Old Testament came from Adam himself. Thus, the father of mankind, Adam, was also tall because his descendants were taller than modern humans were today. So his offsprings were tall, just like he was tall. The archaeological evidence supports that humans were at one point taller than modern humans by recent skeleton finds in skulls. If there are some animals that are found that can be bigger than their normal sized by their normal sized animals, then it stands to reason that humans can also be taller than modern humans are today. Thus, the hadith that Adam was once taller than modern humans is not in any error here. So the hadith is not in scientific error. The only person who's in scientific error is Apostate Prophet, as usual.